Hello everyone, welcome to mvpvishwakosha. Today we are discussing 26th September 2025 current affairs. In that first point, that is about recent central government clearing 97 additional Tejas fighter jets. Okay, so here the Indian government through the Defense Ministry has recently signed a contract worth about 62,370 crore. Okay, with the HAL, that is Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, for the procurement of 97 light combat aircraft. Okay, Mk1A Tejas jets for Indian Air Force. Okay, so these 97 jets include 68 single seat fighter variant and 29 twin seat trainee variants. Okay, so very important that. So deliveries are expected to begin in 2027-28 and be spread over 6 years. And this order in addition to an earlier contract of 83 Mk1A jets. Okay. And also the decision was cleared by Cabinet Committee on Securities. Okay. In here you should know about all the cabinet committees. Okay. Being formalized and the major push to India's effort to modernize its air combat capability while emphasizing domestic defense manufacture. Okay, and also very important, it is that is again aging fighter fleet and squadron shortfall. That the IAF currently faces a shortfall in fighter squadrons. Okay, several legacy aircraft that MiG-21, Mirage 2000, MiG-29 are reaching end of service, right? So new aircrafts are required. So that MiG-21 in particular has been in service for decades, has increasingly become unsafe and obsolete. Okay, so the new acquisitions are urgent to maintain air superiority, deterrence, posture, and readiness along India's multi fronts. Okay, that is China, Pakistan, and in Make in India, that is indigenously capability push, and also delays in bottleneck very important, and also strategically that India is a strategic neighbor would include two major military powers, China and Pakistan, with whom it is contested borders and air powers is central in deterrence and rapid response, right? So all that perspective, that is Tejas Mk1 relevant questions will come in exam. For that it is very important. Okay, so that is about recent news about Tejas deal. Next news, that's about GSTAT or GSTAT e-courts portal. Okay, so here on that Union Finance Minister launched that Goods and Service Tax Appellate Tribunal and accompanying e-court portal, that is for GST dispute items. Okay, so here GSTAT. Okay, that is Goods and Service Tax Appellate Tribunal will beginning here appeals from December 2025 onward. So the e-courts portal allows online filling of appeals, case tracking, virtual hearings, etc. And also a staggered filling window is allowed till 30 June 2026 to transition older dispute into the new systems. Okay, and also the tribunal is structured with the principal bench, New Delhi, and 31 states benches across 45 locations. So each bench comprises judicial members plus technical members, center and state, to ensure balance between law and specialized tax finance expertise. Okay, so very important that body. Okay, that is GSTAT, that Goods and Service Tax Appellate Tribunal. Okay, that is online filling e-court portal functions and filling window for older cases and structures. Okay, and also bench composition objective very important, and also this GSTAT needed, right? So to initiate three-tier dispute resolution, all that perspective very important. Okay, so that is GSTAT plus e-court change one forum for fairness and speedy predictability, consistency, and ease of for taxpayers and MSME, and also unlock capital and improve cash flows, institutional trust and compliance culture, digital first justice. Okay, so all that perspective, it is very important. Okay, so that is about recent news on GSTAT and e-courts. Next news, that is about recent Ladakh protest and about sixth schedule demand. So here that violent protest erupted in Leh Ladakh. Right? Thousands of youth demonstrated for statehood and inclusion under the sixth schedule of the constitution. At least 4 protesters were killed and dozens were injured in clashes between demonstrators and security forces. So security measures were imposed, curfew in Leh, and prohibitionary orders in parts of Kargil, suspension of mobile internet in Leh, etc. And also activist Sonam Wangchuk, who has been a hunger strike demanding these constitutional safeguards, was later arrested, and also his NGO FC that under foreign funding license was also cancelled. So all that Leh Apex Body and Kargil Democratic Alliance have been leading protest and negotiation for several years. And two elderly hunger strikes, okay, that is Serang Angchuk and that is the Shim Dolma were hospitalized as their health deteriorated. And also the government scheduled talks on that 6th October 2020 with Ladakh representative. So very important that demands and grievance filing protest statehood for Ladakh and inclusion under 6th schedule. Okay. So they seek protection and autonomy available under 6th schedule. You should know about 6th schedule. So job reservation for local employment, democratic governance and local control, sense of alienation, administration neglect. Okay. So in constitution that you should know about that 6th schedule. 6th schedule is the that part 10 of the Indian constitution and applies to tribal areas in certain northeastern states. That is Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram. Okay, that four states. So it provided autonomous district councils, regional councils with powers to make laws in specialized areas, land, forest, water, customary laws, etc. So manage local resource, regulate institutions, etc. And also the schedule allows local self-governance for tribal communities, protects their cultural land and resource rights, and gives them authority in administrative decision. And also Parliament can amend the 6th schedule to add various repeal provisions in law. Okay, so very important that significance that federalism and decentralization, tribals, identity and resource governance, signal for other regions and youth and generation dimensions, security, strategic sensitivity, democratic legitimacy and trust, all that perspective it is very important. Okay, this is about Ladakh protest and about 6th schedule. Next about recent news about Pandit Deendyalupadhyaya's birth anniversary, and also it is called as Antyodaya Divas. Okay, so 25th September is observed as Antyodaya Divas, marking the birth anniversary of Pandit Deendyalupadhyaya. So that Prime Minister Narendra Modi and other leaders pay tribute to Upadhyaya and recalling his ideology, integral humanism and principles of Antyodaya. Antyodaya means uplift of the last. Okay. So multiple cleanliness, shamadanas, and also in the Uttar Pradesh government emphasizes the current policies, vocal for local and all. And also in Lucknow, Rashtriya Prerna Sthal Memorial Complex that include tribute to Deendayal Upadhyaya along with Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Shyam Prasad Mukherjee is being expected for completion. Okay. So there's a birth anniversary is not just a commemorative event, but also a platform to echo policy continuity and ideological commitment. Okay. Pandit Deendayal Upadhyaya. Okay, so birthplace Nagala Chandran. Okay, Mathura district in that is Uttara Pradesh. He was a leader of Bharatiya Janasangha and also he supported the ideology of integral humanism. Okay, Ekata Manav Darshan. Okay, a philosophy meant to balance material and moral growth, individual and social, local and national dimension. And also its concept of Antyodaya means upliftment of the last person. The development must benefit even the most marginalized. And also he published a Rashtra Dharma, a journal to propagate political thought, and also very important. Okay, significant that importance ideological anchoring political messaging, policy alignment and branding, political symbolism and public mobilization, cultural political memory. All that perspective it is very important. Okay, so that is about 25th September, Antyodaya Divas, and that is the birth anniversary of Deendayal Upadhyaya. Okay, next. News that is about slbiyrappa. Okay, slbiyrappa that is Shanti Lingaya Bhairappa. Okay, he passed away on 24th September 2025 following a cardiac arrest in Bangalore. Okay, he was aged 94. His death triggered tribute for literacy circles, political leader including Prime Minister and state government. So Karnataka government decided to accord state honors to his last relatives. His body was kept in public viewing in Bangalore. Okay, then taken to Mysore for final rise. Very important that is slbiyrappa is from Hassan district, Karnataka. Okay, literally he wrote 25 novels plus essays, literary criticism works on philosophy, cultures. Okay, his works combine philosophy, culture, social issues, identity, ethics, history and tradition, modernity. Also, many of his novels are translated into multiple Indian languages and foreign languages. Okay, he Howard Honors Sahitya Academy Award, Padma Shri, Padma Bhushana, Saraswati Samman, and in academic and teaching, he also served as professor of philosophy. Okay, Also, he was also known as quality support education of poor student. Okay. Very important is literature and cultural introspection, bridging philosophy and fiction, regional and national relevance, intellectual, all that, and also literacy legacy. Very important personality. Okay, he's a prominent novelist, slbiyrappa. Okay, he's from Kannada literature. Very important. Okay, so that is about slbiyrappa. Next news that is Supreme Court commentary on decriminalizing defamation. Okay, so while hearing a defamation petition involving the violent a JNU professor Amit Singh, a bench of Supreme Court Justice M.M. Sundaresh and Satish Chandra Sharma remarked, I think time has to come to decriminalize all this. So, remark came in case of challenging summons issued in a criminal defamation suit under Section 356 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which replaced the earlier IPC criminal defamation provision. So, the court noted that several petitions raising the issues of defamation, criminal status are pending, including one involving Rahul Gandhi. The current case was staggered with those. And also, however, the judicial observations, okay, binding, not a binding decision. Supreme Court in 2016, as a Subramanian Union of India has earlier upheld the constitutional validity of criminal defamation. Okay, all that very important. That defamation is an act, spoken, written, or otherwise that injures someone's reputation. In India, the defamation may attract civil and criminal liability. So here, the criminal defamation law in India, under the new criminal law, Section 356 BNS criminalized defamation. Prior Section 499 IPC was a relevant provision. So, 2016 Supreme Court President the Subramanian Union of India, two judgments upheld the criminal defamation as a constitutional, stating that reputation falls under Article 21 and that criminal defamation is a reasonable restrictions under Article 19 Clause 2. Okay. So, in that balance of rights, very important that debate centers on balancing freedom of speech and expression under Article 19 Clause 1A, Clause 1, and with the right of reputation, dignity, life. Under Article 21, restriction criminal defamation must be reasonable, necessary, all that. Okay, proportionate. Okay, very important, all that. Significant free speech and press freedom, reform of colonial era laws and judicial activism, constitutional reinterpretation and legal clarity of and consistency and protection of reputation and also presidential ripple effect. Okay, so all that perspective, it is very very important. Okay, so that is about decriminalizing defamation in India. Okay. That is about statement by Supreme Court. Next news that is about recent news of Indian missile test. Okay, that is railway mobile. Okay, so in also China's spy. Okay, so India's test Agni Prime missile from a rail-based mobile launcher. India successfully test-fired that Agni Prime, also called Agni P missile, from a rail-based mobile launcher. Recently, first time such a test has been done in India. Agni Prime is a nuclear-capable intermediate-range ballistic missile with a strike range up to 2000 km. These tests were done using a specially designed rail launcher integrated into national railway network. Okay, and to increase flexibility, survivability, and unpredictability of missile deployment. The Defense Minister congratulated DRDO and strategic forces for command this milestone. The test place in India among a select group of nations that have rail mobile missile launch capability. Russia, China, United States, etc. Also, that is a recent test, and also Chinese spy ship surveillance presence in the Indian Ocean. Okay, so Chinese research ship intelligence spy vessel Yongwang 5 has been tracked re-entering operating in Indian Ocean, Bay of Bengal region, raising security concern in India. India has issued notice to airmen restricting airspace over Bay of Bengal. Okay, and also Chinese vessel was detected near Indian waters, sometimes hiding at automatic identification systems. So the presence of the spy, which in tandem India's missile test. Okay, very strategically that the survivability of second strike assurance, diversification of launch platforms, capability demonstrated, strategic messaging on to adversaries, maritime oceanic dimensions, all that perspective very very important. Okay, Agni Prime is very important, and it's the range, okay, 2000 km, and China's that Yangwang 5, okay, spy ship and okay, NOTAM, okay, that notice issued. So all that perspective, exam perspective, it is very very important. Okay, so that is about recent rail-based missile deployment and maritime surveillance and in the strategic pivot in Indo-Pacific region. Next, about recent, that is Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger pulling out of ICC, that is International Criminal Court. In military-led government in September 2025, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger jointly announced the withdrawal from the International Criminal Court. Okay, alleging that ICC has become a tool of neo-colonial repression. Okay, the three countries have been ICC members for more than 2 decades, but criticized the court for alleged selective justice and bias. Okay, and also that the withdrawal process under the Rome Statute stipulates that state must file a notification of even Secretary General, and withdrawal becomes effective 1 year after recipient of the notification. Until then, the state remains bound by its obligation under the statute. Importantly, ongoing ICC investigation in Mali would not be necessarily affected, but withdrawal since the court retained jurisdiction over crimes committed while Mali was part. So this move has broader context, this country's geopolitical relevance. These three have allied existed economic community of Western Africa, ECOWAS, and formed their own bloc, the Alliance of Sahel states. So very, you should know about that is International Criminal Court, a permanent international tribunal seated in Netherlands for prosecuting war crimes, genocide, crime against humanity, and aggression. And also Rome Statute Article 127. Treaty established that Article 127 that governs withdrawal procedures. Okay, withdrawal effective after 1 year, ongoing jurisdiction, alliance of Sahel states, all that is important. Sovereignty, legitimacy, accountability, and justice for victims, geopolitical alignment, all that perspective, institutional legitimacy, all that perspective that is very, very important. Okay, so that is about recent withdrawal from ICC. Next news, that is about recent Barren Island, Andaman. So India only confirmed the active volcano located in Barren Island in Andaman Sea on minor eruption twice in September 2025. Okay, September 13 and September 2020. So the eruption September 20 was present, and 2 days earlier, the magnitude 4.2 earthquake in the region, and experts suggest that seismic shaking may have dispersed the magma chamber, triggering the eruption. Okay. And also the eruption were relatively minor, producing smoke, ash plumes, gas emissions, small lava output. There was no threat in inhabited Iceland. And also that Barren Island is an uninhabited. The Geological Survey and related agencies are monitoring the site closely using satellite imagery, seismic data, and periodic survey. This activity is part of volcano intermittent eruptive history. Okay, volcano had prior eruption in 1991, 2005, 2017, 2022, etc. Now 2025 twice. Okay, location is very important. 140 km northeast from Port Blair, that is Andaman Nicobar Island. It is a part of Andaman volcanic arc, Indian plate submerged beneath of Sunda Burmese microplate. Volcano has stratovolcano structure. Okay, also historic activities. All that first recorded eruption was in 1787, followed by long dormancy until 1991, with triggering mechanism. All that scientific understanding, seismic volcanic coupling, volcanic risk hazard assessment, plate tectonic in action, data for climate, ocean studies, all that perspective, our policy implication, predictability, all that perspective, it is very, very important. Okay, that is about Barren Island, Andaman and Nicobar volcanoes. Okay, in India, important for in geographic perspective, Barren Island eruption, all that is very, very important. Next, last news, so that is about Dravya web portal. Okay, Dravya application launched on National Ayurveda Day. So on National Ayurveda Day 2025, that is 23 September 2025, that Government of India launched a digital portal called Dravya. Okay, digitized retrieval application for versatility yardstick of Ayush substance. Okay. So the Dravya portal is intended as a centralized digital repository database for Ayurvedic integrants, classical text, formulation, research literature, Ayush substance, etc., combining traditional knowledge with the modern digital access. Okay, and it is one of several initiatives launched on the ocean alongside UPTA portal, and also Deshka and also All India Institute of Ayurveda Goa have news in its integrative oncology. With the Dravya policymakers aims to make corpus Ayurvedic materia medicine classical formulations, research evidence for more accessible, searchable, standardized. Very important, all that every year, that Ayurveda Day, okay, 23 September every year. Okay, and also that theme 2020 is the 10th edition, the 2025 Ayurveda for People and Planet theme. Okay, and also venue main host All India Institute Ayurveda Goa, that Dravya portal launch and APTA portal, Deshka Swasthya Parikshan and Infrastructure that Goa, and also National the Dhanvantari Ayurveda Award 2025 to recognize contribution in Ayurveda. Okay, all that is very important. Digital infrastructure and traditional knowledge. There is an example of digitization in indigenous knowledge system, right? Also integration of traditional and modern health system. and also sustainability, environment, one health, institutional legitimacy and global outreach, research, regulation, evidence, all that perspective, quality and verification, intellectual property perspective, it is very important. Okay, so that is about Dravya portal recently launched, okay, on National Ayurveda Day, that is September 2023. Okay, so that is about 26th September 2025 current affairs. Thank you. Support me for further videos so that I can analyze all the topics required for UPSC and all competitive exams. Thank you.